I have three $30 bouquets to make today. They're custom and they're going to get picked up in 2 hours. So I thought I'd film the process of making my $30 bouquets with you guys. Starting with, first, last night, before it got dark, I cut a bucket of dahlias. I cut a bucket of sunflowers. I cut a bucket of miscellaneous flowers. And then separate on their own, I cut a few sweet pea sprigs because I'm still getting some sweet peas, but they get tangled up when they're in a bucket with other stuff. I also have some laurel sprigs, and I can go and get some other stuff if I need it. But this is my start, and I'm not going to use it all. Now, I've got Izzy down here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is, she gave me 3 vases. 1, 2, 3. It's for an event, so she supplied the vases. And the first thing I got to do is go put water in them, so I'm going to go do that now. I'll be back in a sec. It's Evelyn, by the way, and yeah, so let's keep on going. So I've filled them all halfway full of water. I don't add anything to our water. I think fresh, clean water is what they get in the garden when it's watering. Well, of course, they've got the soil. The soil adds its own nutrients to that. But I find that if your plants are healthy, fresh water is all you need. You put plant food in there, that's basically sugar. And then you put sugar in there, and then you've got bacteria growth, which is why you have to change your water every day. So to me, they're both, it's kind of counter-indicative to put plant food in water, which is mostly sugar, because all that's going to do is make your water turn off. So I just use fresh, clean water, no plant food. Now, the thing that I did yesterday, I'm just looking for something. I have to figure out where I put it. I've got flowers all around me. I don't see it. Oh, there it is on the floor. Yesterday, I took an old bouquet. This is several days old, quite a few days old. And I cut the stems until I knew that sitting in the vase, they had the right height and the right spatial thing. So I know how long the stems have to be in advance. So knowing that, when I cut my dahlias, I pretty much cut them to the right length already. The sunflowers are not cut to the right length. As the other stuff, I don't know yet. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these down below. I'm going to make a hand bouquet first. And then I'm going to loosely tie it, cut it, all the stems that are too long, put it in the vase, and then add some little special touches. Now, I did have a little bit of Russian sage left, so I'm going to grab that for one bouquet. Okay, so here's a stem of Russian sage. I'm going to add to that a couple of little rose bonbon double click cosmos. Then I'm going to grab 3 small decorative dahlias and put it around the base. So I'm going to grab, this one is called Golden Torch, but I think when I bought the tubers, they were mislabeled because they don't look like Golden Torch. Golden Torch should be yellower. So I'm going to put one of those in there. I'm going to put an Edinburgh in there. And then I'm going to put a marble ball that doesn't have any marbling in it in there. So that's going to be what's at the top of the bouquet for now. I'm then going to go around it with 4 sunflowers. I'm going to use, I know I have at least 4 white knights, so I'm going to put 1 white knight a little bit lower, and I'm going to cross it so that if the sunflower's on this side, the stem goes on that side. I'm going to go reverse to the other side, and I'm going to put a gold light And same thing, cross the stem. And then in between the two, I'm going to use a double click and a random colored one, in which case it's going to be this one. Looks a bit like a red, looks a bit like a plum, looks a bit like a red lemon. I don't know which one it is. It's got that two-tone color, but none of them look specifically like what those ones look like. But anyway, so now I've gotten 4 sunflowers just a little bit below. I'm going to grab dinner plate dahlias now and put those even below that. So I'm going to grab a Spartacus, because if you saw in my last week's video, my top 10 dinner plate dahlias, Spartacus is number 2. None of them are getting AC Loomis because I had used up all the AC Loomis for my roadside flower wagon bouquets. So 1 Spartacus on one side. Well, I want to make sure I'm not putting it too close to the really dark sunflower. So I'm going to put it opposite the really dark sunflower. I'm then going to grab a Lindsay Michelle, and I'm going to put it here. I'm not going to decide exactly where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to put it there for now. Then I'm going to turn it, grab a third one. I'm actually going to grab, this is not a dinner plate, it's Keith H, but it's quite a large decorative one. And I'm going to put that on the other side. I had cut 3 Wanda's Aurora, but 2 of them blew open. I don't even know if that matters. Maybe I will use it because the event is later on today, so I don't think it really matters that it blew open a bit. So I'll put that one in there. Okay, so that's where we're at now. I do have 3 Keith H's, so I am going to put this one in here as well. And I'm going to put it opposite where the orange golden torch was. So that's my bouquet for now. And now I'm going to see where I can add in some special touches. I'm going to put in a sprig of sweet peas wherever it looks like it can sit nicely. So that's just going to tuck in there. I'm going to, oops, stepping on my cosmos, that's not good. I'm going to get a sprig of yarrow because that's on a second flush, and I'm going to poke that down through the center. I have a sprig of marjoram. I'm going to poke that down through the center too, I think. Just so you can see it in the top there. And then I have a little bit of borage I'm going to tuck in here as well. Now, let's see what I can do with some of these laurel leaves. I'll just tuck one in, find a spot where I want to tuck it in. Just make a little separation in there and come down a little bit through from the inside so they're not totally on the outside. And I think that's really nice for $30. I'm going to pull the lower leaves off that are in my way. I'm going to do a tie with twine, and hopefully I can leave the twine on it when it goes in the vase, so that way when it gets carried around it'll stay in its shape, and she can cut the twine off at the last moment or not. Okay, so I'm just going to tie that. It's all tied. Now I'm going to cut the stems so that they're all the same length. Peel off any loose stuff there. Grab one of the vases. And there we go. A beautiful $30 bouquet. And I'm gonna go put this somewhere cool, and then I'll be back and do the next one. Okay, I'm back to do the second bouquet. And you know, I had to change the first one because I realized I forgot to put the Wanda's Capella dinner plate dahlia in there. So I put that in there. I didn't show it to you. You'll see it going in this next bouquet. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start with the Russian sage. I have a stem of that. Then I'm going to put in a stem of Rose Bonbon Double Click Cosmos. I'm then going to do the ball dahlias, starting with the orange ball, which is not Golden Torch, and Edinburgh. And then I'm going to put in a marble ball. It doesn't have any white marbling in it. Okay, so that's the top. Now we're going to do 4 sunflowers around the outside. I'm going to grab a double click, put it opposite the Golden Torch. I'm going to grab a white knight, put it opposite the, well, I'm going to put this one beside the double click, and I'm going to make sure my Edinburgh faces out, not in. Okay, so then I'm going to put the white knight sunflower there, and again making sure the stem crosses away. Then I'm going to do, this is a red lemon. Let's put a red lemon in here. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to put a red sunflower, red sunflower. Okay, now I got to put the red sunflower not where the 2 dark balls are. So I'll put the red lemon there, and then I'll put the red sunflower here. So there's the next level on my bouquet, and then the next level down will be the dinner plate dahlias again, starting with, of course, Spartacus, which is my number 2 top 10 dahlia. And I'm going to put it over here in between the white knight and the double click. Same thing. I'm going to make sure the stem goes off to the side. Then between these 2 sunflowers, I'm going to get, which one shall I put there? Oh, let's grab this one because it's easiest to grab. That's my Wanda's Capella. And then between the next 2 sunflowers, I'm going to grab the Wanda's Aurora. And then between the final 2 sunflowers, we're going to put the Lindsay Michelle. So that is a nice bouquet just on its own, but now we're going to add the special touches, of which I have another sprig of yarrow, which I'm going to tuck down the center. And just get it to where I want just by grabbing the stem at the bottom and pushing up and down, laying it where I want. Then I'm going to grab, oh yeah, put my sweet pea in there. Grab another stem of sweet peas, and I think I'm going to put it right, because the bonbons are off to that side, I'm going to put the sweet pea off to the other side. So it can just poke out like that on this side. Then we're going to grab some what's this called? Borage. I don't like this borage one. I'm going to see what the others look like. Hang on. I cut a big stem of it, so I'll just break off a side branch and see what that looks like, because it doesn't have to be overly long. Yeah, so we're going to tuck this in, I think the same place the sweet peas are. I can just poke out a little bit of blue off to that side. Maybe put another small branch right below it so there's a little bit more of that blue. Strip off the bottom leaves on it. Then I'm going to grab a piece of the laurel, figure out where I want to tuck that in. I almost want to tuck it in the same spot, but I'm not going to. I think I'm going to tuck it beside it, in between these 2 dahlias, the Lindsay Michelle and the Spartacus with the double click sunflower below. Now I'm going to poke that in from the top so it comes in slightly from behind and just tucks out. Okay, so I'm looking at this. I got to pull my, okay, that's too short. Take that little short stem of the borage out of there and just leave it with the one. So get the rest of this borage out of my way. I'm now going to tie it lightly, again with a piece of twine that I double up. Get any leaves out of my way. If there's any leaves that are going to be below the twine, I just peel them off. Oops. I'm going to grab the twine. It's doubled. I'm going to go around it, go through the opening, grab the other two sides, pull it tight, and then I'm going to see if I can do this so you can see. I'm literally just going to tie like I was tying a shoelace. I'm just going to tie a little bow. There, done. Now clearly some of these stems are too long, so I'm going to cut those. Look for the smallest one, cut accordingly. Put this in one of the bouquets. Oops. Lindsay Michelle has slipped. It won't slip when it's in the vase because of course the stems will be along the bottom. And there you go. Now this one, I'm just going to do a little bit. I don't like the way the sweet pea and the borage are falling out. So I'm going to just see if I can grab the stem of sweet pea, looking where it is, and I'm just going to do it so you can see. I'm just going to see if I can tuck it in and behind that sunflower. So that worked nicely. I'm going to do the same thing with this borage that's hanging down. I'm just going to come in here and use the other flowers to hold it up. I'm going to actually tuck it right through the stems of the Russian sage, and that'll hold it up. Yeah, so that's another bouquet done. I'm going to go put this where it can stay cool, and I'll be back to do the third one. All right, now to the final bouquet. Starting with, now I had only some smaller sprigs of Russian sage. I literally cut all that I had left. Had some smaller sprigs, so what I'm going to do is just simply put them all together. Then I'm going to grab my next, oh look, that broke. Oh, that's no good. We'll have to cut that off. Okay, so that's only got one on it of the double click rose bonbon. Luckily, I cut an extra one, which is right here, and it had two on it, so this one will have three on it. And I just dropped some of the little details that go in later. I think I'm just going to, it's my yarrow and my marjoram. Just going to tuck them in the dahlias because that's pretty empty. This I'm just going to toss because it's too small. Okay, so now that I have these, I'm going to add in the ball dahlias. Again, we've got the not golden torch, the not marbleized marble ball, and Edinburgh. So we'll put that there. So they're like in a 3 around the top of that. This one's looking a little high. I'm just going to tuck that down a bit. So then we're going to, oh, the last, okay, I forgot to put in the Keith H. I'm going to have to go back and put that in there after. So now we're going to do we're going to do 4 dinner plate dahlias. So I've got the Wanda's Aurora. No, sorry, I lied. Got distracted by the Keith H. Now we're going to do the sunflowers. We're going to put in a double click opposite the golden torch. Why, I don't know. Then we're going to get a white knight. crossing so that the stem goes out. Then I'm going to grab this guy, which I have no idea what that is. The colors are totally not anything that I bought, so it was a random seed that showed up in one of the packages. And then I'm going to grab a gold light. All right, now I'm going to do the four dinner plate dahlias. So let's start with the Wanda's Aurora. I'm going to put that between whatever this is and the gold light. A little lower. I like to stagger the heights of my dahlias. Then I'm going to grab Spartacus. And then in between the next two, I'm going to put Wanda's Capella. And then in between the next two, we're going to put Lindsay Michelle. Now I'm going to put in my Keith H. I'm just going to have a little looky-poo around here and decide where I want to put it. I think I'm going to put it right there. Right below the gold torch. We're then going to get, this guy's a bit short. He might have to come a bit more forward and lower. And we're going to get the sweet peas. The sweet pea, I think I'm going to tuck in from the top here. Well, I might have to just divide it with my thumb and pull it in because it's not going to hook through there very easy because of its wonky stem. So we've got that sweet pea there. Then we're going to see, oh, I had another one of these short little marjorams. Where did I put that one? I put that one there. Maybe I'll just tuck this one in there on the other side because I have it. Then let's grab some, and I just actually use my scissors because it's going to be easier. Not much blue showing on that. Do we want to tuck that in there anyway? Yeah, let's tuck that in there anyway. So that's a little bit of the borage. This one has more blue, it's just short, but we can, is it long enough? Yeah, we're going to tuck it into the same spot. So there's the borage. That one has not much of anything left on it. This one we'll just put back in the water. Oh yeah, don't forget my yarrow. I've got a piece of yarrow I can tuck in here at the top. So I'm going to tuck it in so that it's just at the top. Now I got to get my sprig of laurel. And I'm going to put it there. Pull off all the bottom leaves again so that I can just put the tie on it. And we know the tie is going to go above my fingers. So clearly anything that's a leaf below my fingers needs to go away. Okay, switch hands. Grab my tie. Because it was on that side. Switch hands again because I like to put it on with my left hand. I'm ambidextrous, so I don't really have a preferred hand, but I dropped it on the floor. I get used to a specific hand when I'm doing things, just based on habit. So I'm going to go around with the loop I've got open and pull it through tight-ish. Lean that on me so you can see. Basically, it's like tying a shoe. Tied. Now we're just going to cut stems. Where's my other cutter? Some of these stems are a bit big for scissors. down a little lower because some of these stems are a little wonky, so it's easier if I hold it down lower to see what I'm doing. There we go. Now, sweep everything off. Big pieces, put them over to the side, and sweep the rest. Get out the final vase. Put it in here. A little bit of rearranging. Well, you can't see because the height of the thing's a little off. But anyway, so there's that one. So now I'm just going to go get the one that's missing the Keith H, and put that in there. This one's set. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm just going to untie it. Because it's just a simple shoe tie, the twine comes off really easy. Then I'm going to look to see where I want Keith H to go. I already know where I want it to go right there because it just, whoops, seemed to call to go there. Put this back wherever it was. Must have been here because that now looks like it has a gap in there. There should be one stem just a little bit too long. And then because it was just simply a matter of untying, I could just put the tie back on it now. Where was I? There I am. That's why I like using the twine. It's actually really easy to take on and off. When you do this kind of loop, double it, do the loop through, and then just do a shoelace tie, whatever that's actually called. And then you can put it back in the vase. So there you go. So now let's grab the other two. My bucket of dahlias is empty. I did a count when I was harvesting, so I knew exactly what I wanted. Let's get the other two arrangements and put them all three side by side. So there's all three bouquets for the event. There's this one. I'll just spin it around so you can see all the different sides of it. There's this one. They're all basically the same ingredients, just not necessarily put together exactly the same, so they all look slightly different, which is why I don't like building them in the vases at the same time, because then they just look too much the same. I like the fact that they're all the same and yet all different. So they're going to get picked up in 55 minutes. I hope she likes them. Aside from hoping she liked them, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next week.